Alright, this is the install video for how to put in the Footwell lighting kit from H2 Auto Designs in your car. Behind me, this is my Nissan GTR. However, this kit works in most Nissans, so I'll have some footage of how to put it in on your specific car. There's 4 easy steps. So step number 1 is you need to access the glove box light and plug in our plug and play harness. The reason we're using the glove box light is that light is actually on when your headlights are on, and it's off when your headlights are off. So what's cool about it is when it gets dark and you turn your headlights on, then the lights, the Footwell lighting will turn on, and then when your headlights are off, so it's daytime, the lights will be off. So it's nice in that regard. Step number 2 is the wires just need to be moved to both the passenger side and the driver's side, so they're on both sides. Step number 3 is you just adhere the LEDs and the little control box, and you just peel and stick it to where it needs to go. And then step number 4 is we tuck and hide the wires so everything looks stock and you can't tell anything's there. So I'll walk you through how to do that on your car. So this install is recommended if it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit or higher outside. If you live somewhere cold, like where I live, and it's below 50 degrees at any time during the year and you want to do this install, definitely pay attention to step 3, because when we start using adhesive, if it's cold, you have to do some extra things for the adhesive to stick well. But yeah, stay tuned to check that out. All right, I just wanted to show what's in the kit and sort of show how it's laid out here before we start the install. So you had the LED lights, so you have one for the driver's side, one for the passenger side. The LED lights will eventually connect to this dimmer box. This will allow you to turn the lights to any brightness you want, including all the way off. And then this will connect via this plug to the vehicle-specific plug-and-play harness, which is over here. This is sort of where the magic is at. So what this is, it's going to steal power from the glove box light. So the cable that comes to your car that powers your glove box, you're going to disconnect it and you're going to plug it into this side, and then this other side is going to plug into the glove box light so it still works. And then again, this cable is how we're stealing the power to eventually power this guy. So other than that, we have some other things in here that are sort of your install tools. The only other thing you'll need aside from this stuff is a Phillips head screwdriver. The longer the better. There are a couple cars where you don't need the Phillips head screwdriver at all, like the Nissan Rogue is one example. But in any case, this is some electrical tape. We're going to use it temporarily. It's going to be removed. Some Velcro to hold some stuff in place. Some glue. You may or may not need this. It's included just in case. Some zip ties to tie some stuff down. Some alcohol swabs to clean some stuff. And then a rod to push some stuff from the driver's side to the passenger side. So we can hop to the install. This is a 2017 Nissan Rogue, and I'm going to show you how to remove the glove box to access a light that we're going to need to install our LED lighting kit. So I'll go in and I'm going to take the camera off. So let's see, it's hard to see, but this thing right here literally just comes off, and then now it's not being held on. And then see if I can get my camera or my light. There's a little tab back here, and you just need to squeeze this, squeeze the box just so that's sort of hard to see, just so this little tab, because otherwise this tab will stop. So you sort of squeeze the insides, and then you just pull out, and there's going to be a couple tabs. It'll be a lot easier to see once we do this here. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just sort of squeezing the back, and as I squeeze the back, now it comes all the way down, and there was 2 tabs that were here. So squeeze the back, and then after that you literally just pull on it upwards, and then there's a couple tabs that just sort of pop out. So let's take a look from this side. So these were the 2 tabs, that we just popped out, and they were connected right here and right here. And then there on this side there's this, and then there's another one on this side, looks like that. So when we were squeezing the top like this, we're essentially squeezing it because it's being stopped on these tabs. So now this is out. You can put that off to the side. This next part is a little bit tricky. So the glove box is removed. This is the glove box light, and we need to access it. And a lot of Nissans, this whole thing will just pop off, and this one it doesn't. So in order to access that light, all you have to do is take your finger and put it right on the light, push up. Or actually, sorry, get these two tabs, push them together, and then push up. And then now there is a hole here. And the way that you access this is you actually have to put your hand from underneath and grab it from the back. So I'm going to get my hand underneath here, and I'm actually laying down here. Just sort of reach your hand up. There's only probably one dangling cable. Find your dangling cable and pull it down. And let me grab the camera. So this is our dangling cable that we need, and this is where our harness is going to connect to. All right, so this is the harness that you get with your kit. Has a female side and a male side on one side of the cable, and then this on the other side. So this male side is exactly what the one that comes from a car looks like. So I'm just gonna push down on this tab. Oh God, there's a fly here. Sorry. I'm gonna push down on this tab and pull it out, except the one on the car here. So it's gonna be a little bit hard to see, but I'm just gonna push down, and when I push down, I can just pull out this tab. So now this is the light that was just up here, so we'll put it back eventually. But first, we have to connect this female side to the side that we have up here. So we connect that, and then this side goes back to our light. So we connect this back to our light. And now we're ready to put this light back where it came from, and then route this cable where we need to get it to go. This is a little bit tricky, so I'm going to zoom into this, and you'll see that there's two tabs. One tab right here, one tab right here. There's the short tab and the long tab. When the light goes in, it'll go in like this, where the short tab will be closer to us and the longer tab will be further away. So when I put it in there, there's not a lot of reach. So when you put it in here, put the smaller tab through the hole first, and then try to push on the other side, because if you do it in the reverse order, it won't work. So once you get it in there, so I'm just going to put this here and fish it back. You're going to push down on one side, and again push down on the smaller side, and then the bigger side. I'll see if I can get this on camera. It might not look the best. I'm just going to take my light here, and I'm going to try to push that light back right where it came from, and have it. So my hand is going back, it's going around. Apologize if the camera sucks, but we're again gonna do the smaller tab before we do the bigger tab. And again, you're just sort of fishing it back until you see it come through. And again, maybe a little placement from your hand from the other side, but you get the smaller tab in first, and then the bigger tab goes in. And there we go. So now that we have this all connected, the rest of this video is going to be very similar, and you can move on to the next step. Alright, so for these next steps, I'm actually going to film all this on my Nissan GTR, so don't be alarmed if the car doesn't look like your car. However, these steps are pretty universal and are applicable to all vehicles. So we have our harness that's connected to our glove box light. And again, I would not put the glove box completely together just yet, because you want to make sure everything works, so don't put everything together just yet. But this is the wire that now is coming down that we need to route to the right sides of the car. So this whole step is about getting what we need on the passenger side and what we need on the driver's side. So that white little metal rod that came with your car, make sure to straighten it up, because this is going to be our pushing device. So we get some tape that came, so get some tape, connect it so these are in line with each other, and literally we're just gonna tape this around, just like this. And again, this is a temporary little thing. So now when it's taped like this, on every car, between the passenger side and the driver's side, there is this whole center console thing. And if you go behind, if you see this white wire, if you go behind here, you should be able to, there's usually a gap. On some cars it's bigger, some cars smaller, but there's always some type of gap. Some cars, like your air cabin filter sits here, but what I do is I take this as far back as I can go and I just try to shove it over. And if you get any type of resistance, then let's see if I can get a better angle. So if you get any type of resistance, just sort of pull it out and shove it back, you know, try to shove it back in. But yeah, if you just push over, and I'm just sort of pushing until it seems like I've got over to the other side, and it looks like I got a good chunk of it over there. So now I'm gonna go to the other side of the car and just sort of see where we're at. So if I did it correctly on the driver's side now, I should be able to see the wire. I'm gonna take this off my head, so I apologize for the camera. So on here, it's a little hard to see, but I can see that the wire is right here. So now I'm just gonna pull this all the way through. I'm gonna pull this all the way through. So now I have access to my wire here. So now I'm gonna undo the tape. So I'm undoing the tape because this little wire is gonna need to stay here. And I'm just gonna undo the tape. So here's my wire. It's great. So I need to do something with this, but before I do that, I actually need to send some LEDs from this side back the other way. So on the single color kit, you'll notice there's two different sides to the single color kit. There is one LED on this side, some other LEDs on this side, and one of the LEDs has this connector closer to it. The side that has the connector closest to it is the side that needs to stay on the driver's side, because this will plug into the thing we just ran through, and this side needs to go over to the passenger side. So all you need to do is select whichever one you want to go over to the passenger side. And so in this case, this one has to go over the passenger side anyways. So grab this. So now we're gonna do the exact same thing we did, but just in reverse. So grabbing my tape again, and I am going to grab a little piece of tape, and I am going to grab that wire, and that wire that is here, and now I'm gonna connect it. Again, I'm gonna pick the right side. I'm gonna connect it in line with some tape, and let me see if I get the camera in a better spot for you. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. So again, this is my wire that's hanging here still, and put these in line with each other. So don't do this, put them in line with each other. And I'm just gonna get some tape. And again, I'm just taping this and going here. So again, this is the side that I want to go to the passenger side. So now that these are taped together, I'm going to grab this, and we're gonna go back to the passenger side. So here is the wire, and all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull back the other way, and magic, here's my LED. So now everything we need is on the right side of the car. So LEDs here, we got the power connector, and the other LED on the other side. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to peel and stick those things where they need to go. All right, as we get to step 3, when we're sticking stuff, this is a big reminder, adhesives do not like cold. So if you live somewhere where it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, when you're doing the install, you're gonna have to follow a couple extra steps. So just make sure, one, when we start using the alcohol, in the summer, you'll see in my video, it's gonna dry in 10 or 20 seconds. You might have to wait 2 or 3 minutes for the alcohol to dry to clean the area. Number 2 is both the LED light and where you're sticking it need to be heated up just a little bit. You're you're gonna see in the video, I'm gonna recommend either a heat gun or a blow dryer just for like 10-15 seconds. Otherwise the adhesive will not bond. And then number 3, once things bond and you're like pressing them in place for, you know, a little bit just to make sure they're sealed, in the video that I'm gonna do in the summer, you're gonna see I'm gonna do it for like, I don't know, 10 seconds, but in the winter you're gonna have to push those things for maybe like 30 seconds just to really hold them in place and make sure they're bonded well together. But we'll go through that here. So the next step is before we actually attach anything with adhesive, we want to make sure to clean the area. So you have a couple alcohol swabs that come. So first you want to get a rough idea of where you're gonna put it. So in, you know, here you want to put it somewhere where, you know, you don't want to put here, because if you put it like right here, you can, 1, see it when you enter the car, and then 2, it'll just be like in your face. So you want to just like put it here. So in my case, here would work. You could put it back there, wherever you want, really. Try to center it. It's not the end of the world if you don't center it, because these lights are pretty wide angle lights, so it'll illuminate the area really nicely. So this is roughly the area that I want it. And same thing on the driver's side, it'll probably be just like underneath there. So all right, so I'm gonna clean the area. Take your alcohol swab, pretty straightforward. Clean the area. This part is super important because there's all types of crap like dust and grease and fingerprints and all this type of stuff that will make things not stick as well. So that's what I like to do. Again, hit the other side. Same deal. I'm just using the alcohol swab just to make sure the whole area is nice and clean. And now, wait 20 or 30 seconds. This is a cold weather tip, but instead of 20 to 30 seconds, you're waiting, you know, maybe 2-3 minutes for the alcohol to dry. So very quick, for illustrative purposes, I want to show you what not to do. It is cold right now. It's about 30 degrees. So this LED's been outside cold. This car is cold. Both of these should not be cold. If I stick this, and I'm going to stick it right here for this purpose. Normally you're sticking it underneath here, but for now, if I stick this here, you'll see that that thing pretty much just came off. Like, you know, it sticks. I mean, it pretty much isn't sticking at all. If you live in one of those cold temperatures, this is what you're gonna have to do. This is a heat gun. You can also use a hair dryer. Either one works. So I'm gonna hit this with a little bit of heat, just like a couple seconds, and then we're gonna stick it. I'm gonna show you what it does. So this is what you're gonna need to do for the next step before you adhere stuff. So 1 1000, 2 1000. Heat this guy. You don't want to heat it for too much. You don't want this thing scorching hot. All right, so now that I've heated both of them real quick, and now I'm going to apply that exact same adhesive. So we're gonna apply it again. And just with that little bit of heat there, again, you have to hold a little bit longer too, but now this thing is way more solid. I'm giving this thing a good tug and it is not moving. So just remember to hit it with that little bit of heat. Again, you don't want to get this too hot because it'll burn. Remember, press and hold for a little bit longer, it'll be solid. So when we get to the next step, you're seeing me doing it in the summer, but if you live in a cold temperature, this is what you got to do. All right, so everything is dried here, and I'm gonna go over how to just sort of peel and stick and where to put stuff. So this little knob allows you to turn the lights all the way from really bright to dim to off. So there's a knob here and you want this knob facing you. So most of the time I would recommend putting it somewhere here because you can still sort of reach down and access it. If you want to, you know, you could put it somewhere like over here, but anyway, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to be putting it here. So first things first, before you really put stuff here, I would attach everything together. So you have, this is the thing that goes to your glove box. So that's going to go into one side of the dimmer switch, and then in the other side of the dimmer switch is going to go the little thing that goes to the light. So we're going to connect that together. So now that everything is connected, it's just a matter of peeling and sticking it. So first things first, at the back of there's no adhesive built into the dimmer switch, so you have to put an adhesive here. And I would probably use an alcohol swab also to clean this if I didn't mention that. So I took the little plastic part off. So I'm gonna stick one side right here, push, wait for, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Then there is the plastic part that goes here. If you have nails, it usually works a little bit easier. If not, no worries, but all right, so that's there. So then I'm just gonna stick this right here where I talked about, again, making sure this knob that's right here is facing you. So we'll stick that there, wait about 20-30 seconds, or not 20-30 seconds, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 seconds. Make sure that this is pushed up that way. So put that there. And then for the lights, same thing. They have a little red adhesive that's here. So peel this back, peel the red adhesive, and as far as placing this, you want to sort of, if possible, try to center it. I like to make sure that the wires that are facing this way, so like this, instead of turning it this way, I like to make it so the wires, all the stuff is facing that way. So I'm gonna take this off my head and show you where I'm putting this. So every car is a little bit different, but on this car I would probably plop this guy right there, and again, push it here, wait for like 20-30 seconds. I keep saying 20-30 seconds, wait like 5-10 seconds. Then just push some pressure there. And then again, I would come over to the other side and do the same thing. All right, peel the adhesive back, and again, we're putting it somewhere in the middle-ish. You don't have to be perfect with it, but I'm gonna go here, press this for a little bit, making sure to press all the different spots. All right, so everything is here. You're gonna have some excess wire and slack, and you wanna shove it and tuck it behind what you can. And the last part of this step is going to be sort of tucking these wires, then using zip ties so that this isn't visible. So when you walk into the car, when you're looking from more this perspective, you're not like seeing any of this here. And this is the Gorilla Glue that's included, so you don't have to use this, but the reason it's here is if you're having a hard time with the LED lights sticking to your car, you could take some of the adhesive, put it on there, then stick it for it to stick a little bit better. I haven't had any issues myself. I've been running a setup like this in my cars for about 2 years or so. I could see though, if you live somewhere where it was like super hot, and it gets really, really, really hot at some point, maybe, this thing would fall off. The included electrical tape, if you wanted to use the electrical tape on each side of the light for additional support, as long as you're not blocking one of the LEDs, you could do that too. That's an option, but again, I like things to look pretty. So yeah, that's it for that. So this part's going to be individualized to every car because the goal of this is literally this whole mess that you see here just needs to be hidden and tucked away. What I'm going to do is first, I'm just going to shove things. I'm just going to tuck all the extra slack back. So the extra wire that's hanging, I'm just going to tuck it somewhere. If you have carpet, like there's a carpet thing here, you can hide stuff behind here. And I got some excess wire, so I'm just gonna hide that there. And this is highly individualized, and you will have zip ties, so I recommend tucking things. Well, this actually isn't too bad, to be honest. So let's see. So this isn't bad. I do have this dangling wire, which I don't like. So I'm gonna use a zip tie. So there's some wires that are hanging here. I'm not sure exactly what they're from, but I'm gonna use a zip tie just to make sure this wire isn't dangling from the front here. So I have a zip tie, so now this rut's back there. This actually, honestly, isn't bad. I'm lucky that I have a carpet right here that can hide a lot of the stuff. And again, I'm always concerned about this driver pedal, so I don't want anything here. This actually really isn't too shabby. You know, if you have that tape, that electrical tape, if you want to use the tape to tape some of these wires back behind the panel, you can. But honestly, you see all this stuff here, and yeah, actually, it really isn't bad. I just a little bit of tuck in, pushing stuff here. So like from this perspective, if I'm entering the car, like, you know, you don't even see that the thing is here. So I'm entering the car, I'm sitting down. If I look down, I can still reach this thing, but it's not like in view. Like all that stuff isn't in view. It's not in the way of my pedal. So do that. I'm gonna go over to the other side and so this side, same deal. This, ooh, it looks like in this car, on this little panel, there's a little slit, a little hole. So I think I'm gonna use a zip tie through the little hole here and use it to secure this light, this little wire here. So again, use a zip tie to put that there. Tuck all the extra wire back behind here. I feel pretty confident about this. So yeah, so the end of the zip tie you need to cut off. So I need to do that on the other side, but you know, you take your scissors, cut off the end of the zip tie, make sure not to cut any wire. And again, so now I'm entering this car, and I'm entering the car like this. And if I were to sit down, you know, you really can't see there's anything here. So there's not any like wires dangling that, I mean, unless you go all the way down here, you wouldn't be able to see most of this. So perfect. As far as testing the lights, every once in a while I'll get this question. They'll be like, the lights don't work. So again, these lights are turning on when your headlights are on. So you would just have to turn on your headlights to test to see if they work. In this case, it's making a noise because my door is open, but I can pop down and see that some are working there, pop down, see some are working there. Again, they're really not that bright because it's, you know, light outside. But when your headlights turn off, they should turn off. And that's pretty much it. You know, if you didn't attach your glove box, make sure, again, attach that. Don't forget about that. And that's it. It's stealth. You can't see it. You can't see that's in the car. It turns on when you want it to. And a lot of Nissans, after you turn off the car, so you're driving at nighttime, you turn off the car, your headlights usually stay on for a little bit. I don't know if it's a safety thing because your headlights are on. These are on even though the car's off or you're getting out. It sort of makes a cool effect if you're showing up someplace and, you know, you turn off your car and then you open the door and, you know, the lights are still on and everybody sees them. But yeah, anyway, if you guys got questions, let me know at www.h2autodesigns.com.